I'll give you a little rundown. It is, where's it at?
I just want to say, AJ, while you're doing that, you look more alive. These shakes are having an effect.
Yeah, awesome, sweet, I'm glad.
Yeah.
So the idea of ascension is just spirituality and ascending above the stuff. Anyway, so I'm like, well, I wonder if this is something that I need to take time. And so if my balance really is more maybe connecting with family more.
Right.
So going through this whole process, and it was what I posted on Facebook, is my learning experience. And so usually my marketing messages on Facebook are literally something I experienced in life that I learned that I then turn and like call people to action and make them think about. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, so my life becomes my marketing is my life. I mean, it's not this crazy concept.
Yeah, no.
So I'm like, okay. So I went through this process with my grandmother and I had this great relationship because I would have breakfast, I had dinner, and I would literally ask questions. So, she went through the Depression, and here in the States, kind of now, but definitely a few years ago, the economy was bad. Not as bad as the Depression, but it was the Great Recession.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was asking her, what was it like in the Depression? Like, how did you guys pull this off? And she said, well, it was pretty easy. Everybody came together and we shared as much as we could. So if we had an abundance of corn, then we shared with our neighbors. And if they had an abundance of coffee, then we shared and we worked together. And I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess if all goes to hell here, I guess that's what will happen is everybody will pull together and I was just curious. And so by having these conversations and asking these deeper questions, I got to learn a lot about her and her life and what she believed and stuff that but then I got to thinking after this, I don't know this about my cousins.
Right.
I don't know this about even my sister. So I thought, well, maybe this would be an interesting experience where I take them to dinner, some family member, once a week.
Yeah.
And maybe my balance is getting to really know them. And a lot of times in our culture, and I don't know if it's like this there, but it definitely is here, there's certain questions that you don't ask because the reality is that you're really embarrassed about what would they say.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So what if you removed that stigma from that and you just ask?
What sort of questions would you ask?
I don't know. What do you believe, or what is your belief in God, or what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you could ask anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really good. That I think it's interesting how things are shifting and changing because I feel the same way. So I'll tell you mine anyway when you go into that. So what's going to be is it the challenge then? So how would you obviously going to take something on a weekly basis, isn't you? I suppose that's how you're going to measure it, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. So my measurement, or I guess my impossible game, would be taking somebody to dinner. I mean, this could be a family member. I mean, it could be a date. If I find, if I'm out and about and I find somebody I'm intrigued with, I don't mind going up and just asking and talking. I do it in business. Why the hell not doing it in a personal relationship?
Exactly.
So I could do that. And so basically, the impossible game is go on 12 outings, social outings. I guess 12 and 12 weeks. So one a week.
Yeah.
With them and ask deeper questions.
Yeah.
Instead of because there even time I'll go even with my mom. I could do this with my mom and ask questions because a lot of times it's like, how's your day? How was work? That's good. How you closing on the house? Instead of asking deeper questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's how you're going to get to know somebody on a real deep level, then, aren't you? Really? I suppose you're going to find out some interesting stuff there. It's a bond, isn't it? You're going to create a real strong bond there, I would imagine as well. So yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
And even through going through this grieving process with my sister, because my sister was close to my grandmother, it brought us closer together.
Yeah.
The entire time we were, we're hugging and crying and holding each other. I mean, and we're really there for each other, and that brought us closer together. My dad and his brother, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So my impossible game would be able to try to create more intimacy, I guess you'd call it, even with those like your cousins or just other family members by asking these deeper questions. Yeah,
most definitely. I can really relate to it because I've recently spent quite a lot of time with my other cousin Tony, who's there's 26 of his cousins. He's the eldest one, and I'm actually the youngest one. But his wife left. They've split up after 35 years, and obviously it hit him really hard because all he's ever known is that. So I've been spending quite a lot of time with him over the last couple of weeks. and it's brought us really close. This is the guy we did the bungee jump with. So he said, I've never done anything like that, so I can't believe you got me to sign up for it. But me and him spend a lot of time together now, and I'm finding out stuff about him that I never knew. Some really interesting conversations, on Saturday down the pub, and, it's the kind of conversations that I really like, some in-depth ones. And he's really interested in the stuff that I'm saying as well. We're kind of going off on a tangent, and I'm thinking, well, I never knew this about you. And it's brought us real close. And the same with another cousin. He's unfortunately, his brother took his own life. He was the youngest. And I became really close to his brother. So that brought us really close together as well. So unfortunately, it seems to be tragedies that bring me closer to other people. But it's good to get to know people.
Yeah, and I have a cousin named Zach, super cool dude. Known him my entire life, but I only see him at like Christmases or Easter, anything like that. I have never once picked up my phone and said, "Hey, dude, you want to go grab a beer?"
Right?
I haven't.
No idea.
I have no clue why.
So,
but now it's time to do that.
Cool. I liking that. I'm really liking that. So, is there any challenges?
So the challenge is just take out a family member to an outing once a week.
Yeah. Is there any sort of obstacles with that at all, or?
See, the obstacles is just making time for it.
Right.
This is like a simple game. So the obstacle would be, I don't have time.
Yeah.
I could use this money on this or that. And being willing to say no. This is important. This is priority.
Yeah.
You would go work at CrossFit till you throw up. So go spend $10 and go buy him a beer or buy him whatever.
Yeah.
And go invest in that relationship.
Yeah.
And learn more about people that you want to learn about.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's a really great idea. What would you get for you then? I suppose that's the last question. Really, what would it get for you then doing that?
I think it's going to bring just deeper relationships with people in your family or friends. I could even do this with friends, by the way.
Yeah.
Just deeper relationships with people. But also, I think for me, it would bring out this idea of, even in a business setting or when you're communicating with people, a better way of communicating with people. Because now, even though you're doing it with your family, communication is communication. Whether this is with family, whether this is in business, whether this is in dating relationships, communication is a skill.
Yeah.
So going in, making yourself go into these situations and asking these deeper questions, you're gaining and you're practicing and you're living this new skill set. So I feel like it will enhance my ability to communicate and to connect with any person I ever come into contact after this 12-week process.
Yeah. I don't know how this is going to pan out, but I'm kind of like getting a feeling. I'm doing my Cheryl moment now. I'm getting a feeling that I'm going to say the other stuff, but I'm going to have not no bird or squawking in the background or anything like that. But I've got a feeling this is going to lead to the girl, mate.
Yeah, it totally could. This is my bird.
Yeah. It's just mad, isn't it? I was talking to her on, was it Friday? I think it was Friday. And so we're going to set up an interview with her. So I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to be a bit crazy, that wasn't it? But it's going to be all good. Cool, man. I reckon there's going to be a lady turn up from this one.
Yeah. And what about you? Are you going to kind of take on the same game here?
Yeah. It's so when I said, I was trying to sort out the paperwork. Actually, what I did is part of the balance was for me was. I wanted to like get out in a new social group sort of thing, 'cause my mates, and I do like them, they're kind of, their thing is to go and have a beer, and go out at night time, and that's the kind of thing, as much as I enjoy going out and doing that, I don't want to go out at night time just to go drinking, I want to meet new people, or if you've had an activity, you've done something together, then it's great afterwards, you talk about it, and it's great and it's fun, and that was the thing that I put down right at the very beginning when we started this, that I really wanted to like have a male thing going on, have a bit of a male bonding thing, whether we go for a run or we do some activity or we do something. And I have a bunch of friends or that social circle that, oh wow, let's go mountain biking this weekend, or let's go, well, I'll tell you exactly what happened. So it's just weird how it pans out. So we did obviously the bungee jump on Saturday with my cousin, and then his son-in-law came along, who I know anyway, he was a great guy, Gavin. He does parascending, the shoots and stuff, so he's got a parascender. He's the guy who let me the head cam, but he wouldn't let me wear it, unfortunately. But his friend were there with his wife and their little daughter, and we said, how about going mountain biking? The conversation came around, Oh yeah, and my son said he'd lend me his bike, 'cause obviously mine got stolen for the time being. He says, oh yeah, we'll go out mountain biking then. Yeah, oh, great. So we've got like 4 or 5 of us. So oh yeah, we'll go out mountain biking. I didn't really socialise with any of these people. And then I said to Tony, you know, after we got a few more, I said, I think once a month we should have another challenge, something that neither of us have done, something a little bit, you know, a bit out there. And he goes, well, what are we going to do? And long story short is that Gavin, who's his son-in-law, and the other guy, Brian, they have kayaks and they can get spare ones. So a week on Friday, we're going kayaking down a local river.
Nice.
I've never been in a kayak. So we're going kayaking. But Brian, he's actually a paratrooper trainer. So I'm going to get my ass kicked again on the mountain bike. I'm going to get kicked all over the place. This guy's just not a para. He trains paras to be fit. You know what I mean? But it's just weird at the beginning of this process, and that's kind of like I wanted to record these calls for so people can see it, is that we set the intent, we start moving towards it, and these things just materialise, and you just got to grab the opportunity. So I had a really good day on Saturday. So there were quite a few beers involved, but the families were there and a few kids, and you know, Michelle turned up and stuff like that, and it was just such a fantastic day. It was really, really good. Enjoyed it. So that was the
things I learned. This kind of ties into what you're saying. I've been studying this book called Thou Shalt Prosper, and it's by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. Anyway, really interesting, kind of studying the Jewish culture and their views on money. And one of the things was talking about if you want to have a successful business, that you have to go out and build relationships. Don't just go to networking events where you're swapping business cards.
Yep.
Go to events where you're like building homes, or where you're mountain biking, or where you're doing something with people.
Yep.
Because that's where you're going to build real relationships. And if you'll build real relationships with people, business flows from that.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought about that. But as I started thinking about that, I was like, that's so simple, and I totally overlooked that.
Yeah.
And I look back at all of my big clients that I've had over the years. Every single one of them has come from social settings.
Yeah.
Of going out and doing with somebody, creating a relationship, and then they refer somebody to me.
Yeah.
You know, even one of my new clients, back from the music industry, is a guy I spent a lot of time on the phone with, just talking to. And he was talking with somebody, and he referred him to me, and that guy's now my client.
Yeah.
And I was like, this makes sense. And so that's kind of ties into what we're talking about, of going out and enjoying life. And as a result, not only do you feel complete because you're connecting, but you're also going to grow your business from doing so. It's just kind of a byproduct of connecting.
Yeah, yeah. He's just brought back, like, it's a good few years ago, maybe about 3 years ago now, where somebody connected me with somebody else in the States, and he was a joint venture expert, and he like had a free session with him, you know, like an hours long consulting sort of thing. And I always remember him saying that your solutions are in your network. And I said, I haven't got a network. And he went, friends, family, people you got to work with, all this kind of thing. I didn't think about that. That's exactly what you're saying, really. You know, that's your network, isn't it? So I was saying, you know, I've got nobody to launch this product to. And he goes, just tell all your friends, and then say to your friends or your family or Facebook or whatever the case may be. Maybe you don't know anybody, but maybe somebody else knows it. And is it a law of six? What's it called? Six degrees separation.
Yeah, that was yes. It's called 6 degrees of separation. And now with internet technology, I don't know what the new number is, but I bet it's way lower, half or less than half.
I would imagine it is. Yeah, I would imagine it is. So that's something that's really going well for me. So I feel like I'm proper on board with that. Anyway, I didn't really know how we were going to track it, but I've just said it once a month. We're going to do something that's a bit more adventurous, something that challenges, and also I've created this network. So we're going running on Wednesday with another lad who, weirdly, I met him 3 weeks ago. We only used to go to school together, and I've not seen him for like 21 years. And I bumped into him and his girlfriend in the pub, and we're going running together on Wednesday night. So he likes running and fell running and stuff. So I could do with somebody else to help train. So it's just brilliant. You know, it's all panning out and coming together. Yeah. So that was one area.